timer for you, so you don't
You
have
got
to
your
do.
phone, okay,
Oh,
cool,
that way you don't have to do two things.
okay.
Okay, Dr. Kevin Egrith is the founder of Marriage Partners Ministries, an inspiring author of 5 books, a television show host, licensed and ordained minister, and a marriage conference speaker. Today he is going to share a common encouragement. Please welcome Dr. Kevin Egrith. Help Things Are Getting Worse. Help Things Are Getting Worse, Dr. Kevin Egrith.
Thank you. So I hope that was a catchy title. Help! Things are getting worse. I've heard this once in a while from my clients. And I always tell them, things are actually getting better. Okay? Hang in there. Hang in there. Stick and stay is bound to pay. That's my saying. I like to rehearse that. Stick and stay is bound to pay. Think of it like this. When you're cleaning out a garage, right? First, you want to get organized. So you pull everything off the shelves. You scatter it all over the floor and bring it out into the driveway, right? And then you start sweeping to clean the place up. And when you're sweeping, there's this cloud of dust, and you're choking and coughing. If you take that one snapshot in time, it appears like this thing's a disaster. This thing got like 10 times worse. You know what I'm talking about? Exactly. And so if you're in a position where you're improving your marriage, it might seem like things are getting worse. Actually, you're on the path to them getting better. You see, let me explain a little bit. There's 3 emotional states. There's intimacy, and that's when you can give and receive love, when you can communicate effectively and efficiently, fluently, you can resolve problems. And then there's the emotional state of conflict. Conflict is when you're consistently handling conflicts poorly. It gets you stuck in the state of conflict. Now, in the state of conflict, both people usually are still motivated to work on the marriage. In fact, that's why they're conflicting with each other. They're still engaged, they're still involved. It's actually a good stage to get a hold of people because they're willing to work, they're willing to apply some effort, they're willing to save that marriage. But if that continues on for a long period of time, that sense of conflict, it just feels so yucky. It just makes you almost sick to your stomach. And after a while, you just want to completely withdraw. Because when you emotionally withdraw from the marriage, at least you have a degree of peace. You're not in that state of conflict anymore. And that's usually when people come in for help, unfortunately, at that stage. And you see, it's at that point where you have a reluctant spouse. One spouse is completely withdrawn. They could just about care less if they have a divorce. They have zero motivation to work on it, and if a divorce happens, they let it happen. Is kind of their attitude. The other spouse, they're like, oh, the warning flags and the bells are ringing. Hey, there's a problem. My spouse is so disengaged. They're probably about ready to leave. They're probably about ready to get a divorce. And so they're the ones that go in and get help. And so a lot of times people will pick up our course on marital negotiation because it's late stage. It's never too late, but it's late. And so they get a course like this, and it's really, really challenging because they want their spouse to work on the marriage too. But when it's at that point, almost all the effort is completely up to them because the reluctant spouse has zero motivation to do anything with this marriage any longer. And so as the engaged spouse learns some new material and they can begin to draw the reluctant spouse out, begin to draw them back into the relationship. What happens is, see, there's an order: intimacy, conflict, withdrawal. So as you begin to draw that spouse back, they go back into the stage of conflict. And so it appears like things are getting worse, but they're not. That's a good sign. It's a really, really good sign. It's actually very hopeful when that happens. But you see, when that happens, the reluctant spouse, they express more emotionality. And of course, it's generally going to be negative emotionality, right? There's been all kinds of problems. They haven't been getting resolved. They've withdrawn themselves. Now they're coming back. They're really upset, but they get re-engaged. There's a lot of emotionality. And it seems really bad, but it's not. That's a good sign. Remember, stick and stay is bound to pay. You just got to hang in there and keep working the system. You see, let's take a look at at a program that will draw them back in. A program like this one here, they'll learn how to resolve their conflicts, resolve it in a positive way. So we call it marital negotiation, because as opposed to regular negotiation, like business negotiation, you just want to win the best deal for yourself in business negotiation, right? In marital negotiation, there's a higher purpose. You want to sustain romantic love, first and foremost. Getting your way is a little bit lower on the threshold. First, you want to maintain that relationship. You want to maintain that emotional feeling we call romantic love. That's the most important. So there's a very big difference. That's why we call it marital negotiation as opposed to just negotiation. You know, I have a very special message tonight for conflict avoiders. You know, people that handle conflict by aggression, by anger or control, everybody knows that they have a problem that doesn't exactly work. In fact, their friends or family might even mention it to them because it's very overt, it's very showy. Everybody can see it. Conflict avoiders, that actually has a tendency to ruin marriages more so than the other styles of handling conflict that are unhealthy. And that's because it goes unseen, it goes below the surface, right? So my special message is that there's a fundamental fact about conflict, and that's that you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid conflict. What you can avoid is talking about it. You can avoid thinking about it. You can avoid resolving it and dealing with it. And then what happens is resentment grows in your own heart. Anger grows in your own heart. And love dies for your spouse in your own heart. That method of conflict avoidance is so deadly to marriages. And so I just wanted to take an extra moment to talk about that particular style, because we generally don't see conflict avoidance as being a bad thing, but it really is. And one really important thing I think I want to mention about development of the skill set of marital negotiation is that it truly is a skill set. So just like basketball, there's an educational component. There are things you have to learn intellectually, like the rules of the game. You got to learn who stands where, what's the name of the positions, how do you score. So there's tangible things that we need to be educated on and learn. And that in itself is not going to make you win championships, right? You have to get out there and actually shoot the ball. You have to make the hoops. You got to be able to dribble really fast and keep control of that ball. And there's a skill set development. And that's what this book is here. So you learn intellectually stuff here, then you practice here. What this is you practice with other people's conflicts, not your own. So you're not emotionally charged. You don't have the emotional handicap. So you can work through systematically other people's conflicts. And as you do that, you develop the skill of handling marital conflict and doing it in a way that sustains romantic love. So the skill development part is so important. It's such an important component to being able to do this on the fly. When you really get upset and something happens and you need to make a decision or you need to decide something right now, okay, get your head in the game. So you got to think of the rules of the game, and then you say, okay, now I practiced this 1,000 times. I know exactly what to do. And you've cultivated and developed that skill set. And now you can go out and handle whatever the conflict it is in a way that's going to sustain your romantic love throughout an entire lifetime. So if you found some of this stuff interesting, we've got a lot more on our website, marriagepartnersministry.com. And, you know, I would encourage you, take a look at it and share it with some friends of yours. Help your friends to get plugged in and stay motivated to be working on their marriage. Keep in mind one thing. What you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. Thank you.